Welcome to Sunday Stories. I'm Michael Sanford. Over the next hour, we'll be sharing stories that celebrate the rich history, amazing people, and fascinating places throughout our region and beyond. What do Sandra Bullock, Ben Affleck, Jodie Foster, Sandra Oh, Gwyneth Paltrow, Leonardo DiCaprio, Shakira, and Natalie Portman share in common? Well, they all know how to speak multiple languages. Natalie Portman speaks 6 languages. While the ability to speak multiple languages is probably not the only reason for their success, recent studies have shown there's significant cognitive benefits from early language learning and long-term educational and career benefits from multilingual students. A school in Reading is investing in those potential benefits through a dual language immersion program where students are taught in both English and Mandarin Chinese.
Welcome to Reading School of the Arts, where about 260 kids are absorbing a second language starting in kindergarten. Launched in 2007, this elective program teaches 50% of the daily curriculum in English and 50% in Mandarin.
I think that's very special, especially in this far northern California, to offer that as an opportunity. Yeah! They learn both the academic and the cultural language. If they are looking to go into the business world in the future or the science world in the future, having that background of basic science and math will help them later on when they're building their own language.
If you start young, then it's kind of just a piece of you and you grow up with it.
Preparing students for a multilingual future. Later on Sunday Stories. Gianna was diagnosed with an inherited brain blood vessel disorder, and at only 11 years old, she's had multiple brain surgeries. Last season, Sacramento Republic FC players wore specially designed cleats and then donated those cleats to raise funds for charity. After hearing about Gianna, midfielder Ray Sari met with her, and they designed a pair that tells her story.
Gianna and her father have an inherited condition, familial cerebral cavernoma. That means that these very clusters of thin-walled blood vessels inside her brain.
I was diagnosed first, so dealing with seizures and everything I had, it wasn't fun, but it was much harder when I learned that my daughter had the same thing I did and that I passed it along to her. Since I share the same thing, we just kind of work together. I'm glad that I've had the experience that I had so I can help her through her experiences.
We talk about some of the connections we have about our surgeries. It's helpful so you feel confident if you have to do it again.
I just know at age 11, if she's gone through 2 brain surgeries, there's nothing else that she can't do.
Yeah, she's so strong.
We're here to visit Gianna and her family and design a cool boot. We get to collab with her and hopefully come up with some cool stuff to honor, the struggle that her and her family have been through and show that, the Sacramento Republic family is there for them.
Gianna and her special cleats, later on Sunday Stories. If you're passing by his store, you just might see him sitting out in front. Ed Castro is a self-described people person and collector of nice things from the 1940s, 50s, and 60s. In today's profile, we'll visit with Ed at his men's vintage clothing store, Ed's Threads.
I like people. I like being productive. I couldn't possibly stay home. There's no way in the world I could stay home every day. I just like the interchange with life. I like nice things that are well done. Basically, I try to stay with 40s, 50s, 60s. A lot of clothing. It's basically a men's vintage clothing store.
We'll spend some time with Ed in his shop, ahead on Sunday Stories. There's an interactive, hands-on design laboratory in Sonoma County where students go to learn, do, and create sometimes practical, sometimes whimsical things. We'll take you there to see what they're making.
What I'd love for you to do...
These 6th graders from Willowside Middle School in Santa Rosa may be on the most productive field trip of their fledgling academic careers. Some are learning the basics of coding. Others are creating online designs that laser cutters and 3D printers will turn into real products.
I like the interactive part about it because I don't like just sitting at the desk and just doing my work. I like hands-on activities and always doing something.
Oh, it's so different, and it's cool to do the hands-on experience. We watch videos in class, and we do some hands-on, but it's nothing like this.
Making makes learning fun. Later on Sunday Stories. Learning from a martial arts master. Curious to learn and inspired to teach. A community comes together through art. Canine companions for independence training. A place of refuge for victims of abuse and violence. Estimates put the number of spoken languages in the world at over 6,000. Imagine the benefits of being able to learn and speak multiple languages. What languages would you want to learn? The people in the community of Reading decided they wanted to give their kids the opportunity to learn both in English and Mandarin Chinese.
Oh, it's absolutely fabulous. It keeps me young. Tremendous amount of energy goes into every day, and so consequently I go home quite exhausted.
Mike Dressel's been studying Mandarin Chinese for more than 35 years. At one point, his career vision was to teach at the university level. But today, Dressel says he experiences a special satisfaction, even amazement, teaching Chinese to these 6-year-olds.
It is a very different language, but at their age, they're able to absorb so much. The brain is ready to learn a language, 2 languages, 3 languages, and we see quite a significant amount of growth within them in the 10 months that we have them.
Welcome to Reading School of the Arts, where about 260 kids are absorbing a second language starting in kindergarten. Launched in 2007, this elective program teaches 50% of the daily curriculum in English and 50% in Mandarin.
I think that's very special, especially in this far northern California, to offer that as an opportunity.
Margaret Johnson, director of this charter school, says it was the Reading community that selected Mandarin over more traditional second languages like Spanish or French, in part because of the growing Asian population in this region and the fact that America needs more Chinese language speakers to do business in the world's fastest growing consumer market.
They learn both the academic and the cultural language. We believe by doing that, their language is broader. It's just not conversational Chinese that way. If they are looking to go into the business world in the future or the science world in the future, having that background of basic science and math will help them later on when they're building their own language.
And that's what makes this program different from traditional language classes. From kindergarten through 5th grade, students are immersed in Chinese culture, from arts and crafts to traditions and poetry. Teacher Kathy Song says by the time students are in her 5th grade class, they're already thinking, listening, and reasoning in their new language.
For our program, we believe that language is a tool. That's not supposed to be the target. It's the tool that you learn knowledge.
We do speak Chinese at my house. Either online homework or we're writing out the characters and solving Chinese problems. It's pretty cool. If you start young, then it's kind of just a piece of you and you grow up with it.
Parents of students at the Reading School of the Arts are asked to keep their kids in the immersion program through 5th grade. Students can continue studying Mandarin through 8th grade as an elective course of study. Some are already dreaming of visiting the world's most populous nation.
I might use it to go to China someday, maybe. It's a really big part of the world. It has a lot of people, So that would be helpful to be able to speak to them because probably a lot of them couldn't speak English. When I grow up, I want to do something in the medical field, and anything medical is pretty bilingual, and so it will be nice in the business field or the medical field to be able to speak another language, especially something so big like Mandarin.
They're tired at the end of the day from using 2 languages, but they seem to have a really good time. I think the children see some real value in it, and I think they have a lot of fun and feel special that they're in that program.
Across California, there are more than 400 so-called biliteracy programs, where students are taught to speak, read, and write in 2 languages. Each is required to follow California curriculum frameworks and meet or exceed state and local content standards. Studies show that dual immersion students often develop better thinking, problem solving, and even English language skills when compared to others outside such programs. Teachers here say they see it firsthand.
It exposes them to another language and another way of thinking, brings in culture, marvelous elements of culture that they experience in this setting, and also it helps to expand their brain. We hear this from research that it helps them to develop cognitive levels that otherwise they may not achieve.
It makes it so you can go on to other languages too, not just a second language.
Just the brain power that comes from knowing 2 languages and the ability to think and reason in more than 1 language gives you a lot of problem-solving skills and more than one way to express an opinion that you wouldn't otherwise get if you weren't bilingual. And so I'm glad, especially California, that's got so many different languages in the school system. This is really a great opportunity.
Later, UC Davis professor Lee Martin's curiosity-inspired mobile maker lab for kids. Master Amethyst Perarian, a 7th degree black belt, the highest ranked woman in the United World Taekwondo Association, and former member of the U.S. Taekwondo team, is the owner and lead instructor at the studio Martial Arts and Fitness. She believes that by helping create an environment that allows individuals to develop strong bodies and clear minds, society will benefit.
You guys ready? Yes, sir! On your feet! Yes, sir! Sit. Step.
Amethyst Perarian has a saying.
Sweat plus sacrifice equals success.
It's one of those things that looks nice on a motivational poster. But motivation at the Studio Martial Arts and Fitness doesn't come from posters on the wall. For the 600 students here, it doesn't even come from the instructors. What Amethyst Perarian wants them to know, motivation comes from within.
It's a drive and a perseverance to overcome and keep working through stuff. Just because you hit an obstacle or you're challenged with something doesn't mean you get to stop.
Once we teach it, you can be kid.
Amethyst and her martial arts and fitness instructors are here to help find that motivation.
There you go. Nice job. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't see the opportunities that smack dab in front of their face, and that's the kind of mentality that I'm looking to improve just through the members that I have here and make sure that they're aware of the privileges, the blessings, and the opportunities that are in front of them now.
She would know. Known here as Master P, Amethyst is now a 6th degree black belt and former member of the U.S. Taekwondo team. She's got the skills.
I never played any team sports until I started martial arts. I didn't have the confidence to do that. And I've been doing martial arts since I think I was maybe young teens. And it gave me the confidence to not only play sports, be successful in high school, in college.
Amethyst credits not only Taekwondo with giving her confidence, but also her family. A lesson in perseverance learned when the 1979 Iranian Revolution forced them to leave their home.
Basically the revolution in Iran, and then the lack of opportunity for women at that point in time with the direction that the country was going in. So I think my parents decided, hey, I have 2 girls right now. My mom was pregnant, third one on the way, and they decided, you know, that they have to provide a life for their daughters where they can do and be anything they wanted. You see the sacrifices that your parents make, and you know that any opportunity that comes your way is something that you have to, in appreciation of what they did, take advantage of and try to make the best of it. Otherwise, to me, it's almost like insulting your parents. Several years ago, I hit the pinnacle in my career in construction, and I sat back and I said, what do I love doing? And it was teaching and changing people's lives. So I stepped away from that and said, you know, build it and they will come, and did this instead. Again, I did it all by choice, and it was, you know, kind of meant to be.
Amethyst opened the studio in 2010.
When I first met her, I was very intimidated because she's this perfect person, you know, with the perfect body and tough lady, someone I look up to. But then once I get to know her, she's really a compassionate person and very smart and very knowledgeable. And I'm really amazed what she's able to build in just, you know, where she's at now. This is the way to challenge myself to get out of my comfort zone, because after 2 kids, you can sink your whole entire time into kids. Everything will be about kids. And I thought, hey, let's just do something for me.
Amethyst prides herself on smaller classes and a decidedly non-big box business approach to fitness. Her customers are willing to pay more for that personal touch. She admits, like all small business owners, she's faced setbacks.
We launch programs all the time and that we feel are great ideas, but you know, they don't have any traction, so we abandon ship and regroup and come up with another program or an idea or a process, and we're constantly shifting. It's the reason why we do this. It's when you come in and you hear those success stories, whether it's their, again, physical improvement, their mental states, anything that they accomplish, and they attribute it to some level of your contribution to it, it's everything. It really is.
I've always been really curious to know how people think, how the mind works, how we figure things out.
Lee Martin's always been curious about how people learn and invent new things. It's a curiosity born of spending countless weekends in his grandfather's basement workshop, making stuff.
It's just this space of possibility. You'd go in there and you'd think you could kind of do anything.
Every week, this professor from the UC Davis School of Education sets out to provide a space of possibility for other young people, loading this specially outfitted van with tools and materials to make stuff. Lee calls it the Beta Lab. At some destinations, like a boys or girls club, young people may use the van itself as a workshop and mobile laboratory. Today, at Sacramento's Met High School, Lee and these 9th through 12th graders are bringing power tools, a 3D printer, even a laser cutter into teacher Christopher Chu's chemistry class. They're all members of the Makers Club, a growing movement that encourages kids to design and build projects for both playful and useful ends.
One of the things that I love about the maker stuff is that It's a place where learning new ideas, it's really clear how it's going to enable you to do new things.
It's really anyone who just enjoys inventing and kind of tinkering and just working with their hands to create something.
Raul, a senior, is perfecting his remote control car design.
So this year, the goal was just to make it better, and it's a lot better.
One of the things I think that makes them really special, especially this group, is they like to take risks. They like to try new things, and they're not afraid to make mistakes.
There's just this feeling of like success when you do something on your own, you make something, and then you can look back at it in the future and say, I did that.
We've got this session in the next week, and we're there, so it's...
In graduate school, Lee became fascinated with how people cultivate adaptive expertise, the ability to learn new things and work through unexpected challenges. As an avid maker himself, he wondered if building and transporting a workshop on wheels to underserved communities would help spark curiosity and creativity in young people, enhancing traditional types of STEM education, science, technology, engineering, and math.
There are a lot of signals to young women and young people of color that say engineering, design are not spaces that are necessarily for you, and that's deeply problematic. So by creating a space where they feel that they do fit in, by creating a space where they can be successful, and with something really tangible that they can walk out and say, I made this, that at least has the potential to really show them that there are spaces in which they fit in, belong, and their ideas are valued.
Met High School principal Denise Lambert says the Beta Lab also lets her students experience a collegiate-type classroom environment with a real UC Davis professor.
The resources that are provided through the program are awesome, and I don't think these students would have that opportunity. So it opens another door for them.
Lee's an amazing person. I don't see him more as a professor, I see him more as a friend, because he's just helping not just me, but the other students step by step.
It's amazing. He's a wonderful resource. He's a kind person, and he's really there to help teach you and walk you through.
Not only does he bring like a lot of the resources and supplies, he brings resources in terms of people, like it's relationships, it's mentorship, it's knowledge that he's able to give to the kids.
Lee admits it's still too early to measure the success of the Beta Lab in a quantifiable, data-driven way. Results so far are only anecdotal and individual, but he and others are encouraged.
There are all these great ideas out there that I think can be so joyful and exciting for thinking about having these tools to make sense of the world and to make it more meaningful, and then to create, to move the world towards what you want it to be.
Later, the connection made between a soccer player and an 11-year-old girl. Our next story has us joining the Sacramento County Sheriff's Department on a special mission, bringing the community together for a mural project and using public art to build stronger connections.
Well, this project came about through the vision of Captain Barnes. He had the idea of making public art.
Captain Barnes really wanted to find a way to connect with the community, to bring them into our station and to meet with them and to let them meet us and to try to bond and find those relationships.
What can we do for one, connect with the community?
This was something I truly believed in and we pushed forward. Without the helps of Deputy Elijah Johnson, our crime prevention specialist, Lori Costello, this wouldn't have happened.
I reached out to some community members, a Head Start program, Start Dream Big program. I sought out to find a local artist who was willing to volunteer and help with the project.
All right, so we're working with a local artist, Shauna McDaniel.
I came across Shauna McDaniel, who runs the Sojourner Truth Museum.
I received an email from Mr. Elijah with the Sheriff's Department asking me if I would assist him with creating a mural project. I had a chance to talk to each of the youth and I asked them, if you were to draw something on a community mural, what would that look like for you? All of these wonderful ideas the kids shared that day.
Shona McDaniel took those ideas, put them all together with the concepts that I had expressed to her as well with the community, and put the design together.
Parents and volunteers, can you make sure the little kids are doing the very bottom?
The day it happened, it was a very special day. A lot of nervous anxiety, energy, you don't know how it's going to be received.
That day was definitely a busy day, but it was definitely a joy to see so many different groups come together. I think can't really have an event without food. I'm always disappointed when there's events and you don't offer food to people.
And we did a paint by numbers, so even I couldn't mess that up. So when I saw the silhouettes of the young kids playing and the bubbles and everything, and it was neat, and just making sure that people are represented.
For the law enforcement officers, definitely a difficult battle on keeping the perspective on the community as a whole versus what we deal with on the day-to-day. Because as an officer, we actually deal with less than 3% of the population. It's not just about the work of art itself, it's about bringing people together so that they can better understand law enforcement and law enforcement can better understand the community.
I think that on both sides, the guard is up when you're in your day-to-day job.
The sheriff department being able to have a connection with the community, and I think it's very crucial for that relationship to be strong.
Projects like this should be done. I think it's important. The more we can interact with our community in a non-enforcement capacity, for me it does change things, and not everybody's going to buy in, right? However, that doesn't mean we stop trying. And this was an opportunity to find a different way. We have a long road to go, but I know it's our sheriff's mission that we are going to connect with our community and continue to do that community outreach. Our job is to represent the community and we serve. We have officers sometimes that say, I earned my badge, and I say, no, the community entrusts that badge upon you, and you earn it the day you retire.
I think projects like this can be duplicated across the nation. There's artists in every city, every town, and there's law enforcement in every city, every town. So I think definitely they can come together, create work of art, and get the community involved because it's not just about the artwork, but it's about getting the community involved and helping to continue a foundation of a positive relationship between law enforcement and community members.
Art is a part of our lives, and to be able to work together collectively in unity and harmony, art will change the world. We just need more opportunities to be able to make it happen.
Gianna and her father have an inherited condition, familial cerebral cavernoma. That means that these very clusters of thin-walled blood vessels inside her brain. If you have it, you have a 50% chance that your child will have that as well.
I was diagnosed first, so dealing with seizures and everything I had, it wasn't fun, but it was much harder when I learned that my daughter had the same thing I did and that I passed it along to her. Since I share the same thing, we just kind of work together. I'm glad that I've had the experience that I had so I can help her through her experiences.
From the interactions that I've observed between the family, they're in it as a team, and and that's a really wonderful approach.
We talk about some of the connections we have about our surgeries. It's helpful, so you feel confident if you have to do it again.
Right now, she's doing really well. She does have another cavernoma in her brain, but we are leaving it alone, hopefully forever.
I just know at age 11, if she's gone through 2 brain surgeries, there's nothing else that she can't do.
Yeah, she's so strong.
We're here to visit Gianna and her family and design a cool boot. We get to collab with her and hopefully come up with some cool stuff to honor, the struggle that her and her family have been through, and show that the Sacramento Republic family is there for them.
Yes, come on in. Where are we going?
Yeah, we're gonna go there.
Here, okay.
It's nice to meet you. I had people that did it for me, like when I was going through everything I went through and getting to meet Lance Armstrong and getting to do the things with Sporting KC and stuff like that. It was an inspiration for me. Do you have some ideas for your boots? Would you like them to be like?
A while back I proposed a project with UC Davis in Sac Republic to try and raise some of the awareness down at the Children's Hospital. Recently it's just been a little bit more exposure on the ability to express yourself with your cleat. I think that aspect of it is really cool, where somebody else can tell their story without really expressing it verbally.
What did you say your ribbon color was again?
Red.
Red. My type of cancer was like a light purple ribbon, so we could do like 2 different color ribbons like coming together or something like that, which would be cool.
For the top of the shoe, we're gonna have both of our names underneath where the lace is gonna be, and we're gonna have the color of the ribbon that we have as the lace.
I'm lucky that I get to be here and to get to showcase their message like on a bigger stage is something like I think that it can be very special for them.
I think everybody has a story to tell. The fact that the whole family's going through it, the bond that a family has to have while they're going through this it's great. Luckily for us, Ray was nice enough to involve himself in this project, use his platform and his publicity, along with UC Davis Health and Sac Republic to raise that awareness. So I'm just glad I can be a part of it.
We got you your own jersey. That's kind of cool. We got, so you can match the squad tonight.
Yeah, I think that's amazing that the soccer
do too.
team's doing that. The artists are getting involved, and then to raise awareness for our condition, and then donate the cleats to raise money for the Children's Hospital. It's amazing. I just think it's great that he's not just a soccer player, he's going above and beyond, and he's getting involved with patients, and he's going to be part of this charity to raise money and awareness. So I think that's fantastic.
Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
I'll tell you in about a couple seconds. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Hi, good to see you. You too?
Guys, how are you?
Can you say hi?
Hi, you all right? I'll give you a hug, Mom.
Oh, I'm so excited to see.
Oh, you're wearing that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
They put a lot of your stuff over here on this one.
Oh, look.
G11, the E-boy. Your name is right there.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. Awesome.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
Of course.
Thanks for coming up with all the designs.
Yeah, it was all you.
Makes my job easier.
Shake, handshake.
Handshake. Thank you.
And here's the starting lineup for the Sacramento Republic FC.
Still ahead, we visit Ed's Threads and meet owner Ed Castro. This next story has lots of cute dogs, but don't let their cuteness fool you. They're hard at work, training, learning to become assistance dogs for people living with disabilities. We'll find out what the differences are between a therapy dog and a service dog, and what it takes to train a Canine Companions for Independence service dog.
It's common for people to confuse therapy dogs with service dogs, but there is a distinct difference between the two. Margaret Peterson is an instructor with Canine Companions for Independence, the world's largest organization raising and training assistance dogs for people with disabilities.
A therapy dog is a dog who typically is a pet dog, and they are trained often, they're certified through some sort of organization, and they may be invited to a specific location, such as a hospital or a school, to provide some sort of therapy there. They don't have public access, so you can't just take your therapy dog to the grocery store because the dog doesn't have a task or a job to do there. Their job is working with people where they're invited. The service dog is a dog that is trained to do a task, so they are helping somebody who has a disability. They have access to take their dog with them because that dog is assisting them to live an independent life.
Today, Margaret and her team are training these pups the essential commands needed to one day become a service dog.
Yeah.
That's a girl. Good job, kiddo.
So definitely goal is to help people become more independent. We have had people who have had to rely on people all their lives, and they get a dog and all of a sudden they're not alone anymore. They don't have to ask their neighbor or their friend to come in to help with picking something up. Get.
Picking up an item is just one of the many commands these dogs can do.
They can pull somebody in a manual wheelchair. They can tug open a door or a drawer. Some people use that command also to tug a laundry basket or some sort of container.
Nice job.
Pushing things with their nose, whether it's pushing a door closed or a drawer. Turning on and off the lights. Good.
One of the hardest things to train, and most important, is keeping the dogs focused at all times.
Training distraction is a big part of it. The graduate dogs, when they go out in public, they have to focus on what their commands and their tasks are. They can't be looking at somebody else walking down the street. If the person drops something right then, they need that focus.
Not all the dogs end up making the cut.
About 50% of the dogs make it through and graduate. There are some release dogs that don't make it, and they might be released for a medical reason or a behavioral reason. And some dogs just choose that's not for them, and they'd rather go be a pet.
But for the dogs that successfully complete the intensive training program, it's on to the next step in their journey, being matched with a person who will rely on them day in and day out.
I am a collector. There's a lot of eye candy here. I like nice things that are well done. Basically, I try to stay with 40s, 50s, 60s, a lot of clothing. It's basically a men's vintage clothing store. To be here 40 years, I would never have thought it in the beginning. I have seen a lot of different businesses on this street alone come and go, and they can't get rid of me apparently. What keeps me here, of course, is the challenge of it. I enjoy a challenge, but then again, it is a labor of love. My passion for clothing has always been something that I've had in me. Now this shirt here is from the 40s and probably one of the oldest shirts I have here. This is a very unique shirt. And that's not the only one, of course. I'm sure there are others here that fall into that category. You can't go into any thrift shop and find the amount of vintage, real vintage clothing, not used clothing, that I possess. You can't. You may find one piece, two pieces, maybe if you're lucky. Well, once again, here's one from the 50s that I think is extremely unique.
Why is it unique, Ed?
The material itself, the pattern, the colors. Then the workmanship, the panache of a 50s shirt as opposed to today's shirt. A world of difference. It's just, it's hard to describe, but it's very noticeable to someone that is into vintage clothing. They can spot it in a heartbeat.
You know what I'm looking for? Some of those flashy Scarface kind of shirts, you know, shiny.
One of the things that I really have enjoyed about being here is through the years, I've made a lot of friends. And, you know, you can't have too many friends.
It's good seeing you, Ed. Always good to see you, Ed.
All right, likewise. I think that's probably the bottom line on this. In fact, what would you do without friends? Oh my God.
Hey, Ed.
Hey, Leon, nice seeing you, man. Hey. I am a people person. I think that helps immensely in anything I endeavor to do. I just got a shirt that you got to see it, man.
Oh, let's look at it.
It's you.
I've been coming to the shop since 1987.
Isn't that gorgeous?
Very nice. We both love the era in which this clothing is from.
I know you like black.
Yep.
You've been known to wear it before.
And it looks like the right size.
And it's definitely the right size.
Yeah. We've developed a friendship over the years, and we're even hanging out outside the store.
Did you know, Lyle, that the cover of Sgt. Pepper...
When it comes to clothing and music, Ed knows both very well.
He's been around a little longer than I, but I learned from his wisdom. I love that being here at the store. He's a fixture.
When I first started, actually it wasn't a clothing store per se. Long story very short, I opened up a record shop in this space. I did that for quite a few years and enjoyed some success. And Sinatra died, to be perfectly honest with you, and I didn't want to participate in the music scene anymore. So I decided to switch over to vintage clothing. But music has always been part of my life. I like everything about records. I like the physical aspects of putting a record on a turntable. I like the mechanics of it. I think the sound is more pure. It's a warmer sound. And I also believe it's a time capsule. It's worthy of collecting.
I was raised on this, you know. I was weaned on it. Yeah.
Tell me, yeah, how does it make you feel?
Young again. Yeah, young again.
Woo. My age is, at this moment, is 87 years old. I don't feel 87, but you know, as far as getting tired of doing what I'm currently doing, I still enjoy it a lot. Here again, I like people. I like being productive. I couldn't possibly stay home. There's no way in the world I could stay home every day. I just like the interchange with life.
Later, a look at the Maker Movement and a program where kids are excited to learn by doing. Escaping violence and an abusive environment is extremely difficult. Our next story takes us to the Sacramento Regional Family Justice Center, where 80 agencies work together to provide a safe place where victims of domestic violence, child abuse, human trafficking, and elder abuse can go to get help.
When people hear about it, they go, why haven't we been doing that for a really long time? Why do we leave victims to do everything themselves when if they leave a violent environment, they leave with nothing? And we expect them to do everything? How?
This is the story of four powerful people: Jan Scully, Faith Whitmore, Tamra McIntosh, and her daughter Love McIntosh. Each woman has an important story of her own, but what they are doing together is extraordinary. Every one of these women could tell it herself, except Love. Her murder is what brought these women together here at the Sacramento Regional Family Justice Center.
Tell me about Love.
Well, Love was loyal friend to many. She was prankster, loving, caring.
Love McIntosh is a victim of domestic violence, killed by her boyfriend in 2012.
What do you want to say for Love on Love's behalf?
I want to say for these women and men who are in relationships, and if you feel that, you know, it's not going to work out, I think you should find an exit plan.
This room is named in memory of Love. It's one of many safe spaces at the Family Justice Center, or FJC, a one-stop shop of collaboration and care for victims of domestic violence, elder abuse, sexual assault, human trafficking, and child abuse. If that's you, this place could save your life. And all you have to do is call or show up. Jan Scully is the driving force behind the creation of Sacramento's FJC. Scully spent almost 40 years prosecuting crimes, 20 of those years as Sacramento's elected district attorney. Scully announced at her retirement in 2014 the launch of the FJC. Her mission became reality in 2016 when these doors to safety and hope opened wide.
When I was the DA, some considered me a hard-nosed prosecutor, lock them up. And that was true on the right crimes, but it wasn't true with every crime. And in the area of family violence, you can't prosecute your way out of the problem. It's so much bigger. And so for me, yes, was I ready to leave the DA's office as the elected DA? Yes, but I wasn't ready to fold up my tent and, just go hide. I still felt I could make a contribution. And I wanted to be part of something from the community side of it that was bigger. Not one-faceted, but multifaceted. And that's what the Family Justice Center is.
A staggering 80 agencies work together at the FJC. The result? Quick response time. Even caseworkers can rush to emergency rooms, to a victim's side, filing restraining orders remotely, intervening during the critical moments a victim is being treated and protected.
What do you say to someone who is trapped in a domestic violence situation? Feels trapped. Perception is reality.
Tell someone.
Who?
It depends on your community. Tell someone that you can trust. If it may be at work. Maybe that safe place is at work. Maybe that safe place is a relative or a neighbor. What's funny is that a lot of people aren't the ones that report domestic violence on their own. It takes someone else. Domestic violence, family violence touches all of us. And so part of that answer is to the community is we need to start talking about it. If you're thinking about getting ready to leave and your abuser knows it, that's an issue. So you need that support. You need those services. You need the safety plan that we give to help design with the victim before they walk out of the door.
You have all that here, and it's free.
It's all free.
More than 5,000 victims are safer today, all from coming through these doors. This safe space is armed with police and protective care for victims of all ages. There's even Buddy the therapy dog, ready to help.
The word is hope. Our byline is hope thrives here. Just get here. We'll take it from there.
Faith Whitmore is CEO with her heart in service. This Methodist minister says love and grace is alive at FJC, as well as life-saving abuse education and tools, one of which a danger risk assessment test.
They look objectively at those 20 questions, and if they filled out 15 or 16, they go, oh my gosh, I am really in a dangerous situation that I didn't know I was in. I didn't know it was this bad.
You set the tone. It's a joyful place. Isn't that odd?
It is, I know. I'm glad you felt that, because that's what we want to create. We want to create, a peaceful place, a warm place, like, come on in, we're going to take care of you.
Which takes us back inside to Tamra, who is here supporting the FJC, raising her daughter's voice to keep others from being silenced by domestic violence.
What are you thinking?
I'm thinking about love at this moment.
What is the thought?
I think she'd be proud.
You gonna be okay?
Yes.
How do you know?
Because I have to be here for love.
And her living will not be in vain.
For sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
to do.
These sixth graders from Willowside Middle School in Santa Rosa may be on the most productive field trip of their fledgling academic careers. Some are learning the basics of coding. Others are creating online designs that laser cutters and 3D printers will turn into real products.
I like the interactive part about it because I don't like just sitting at the desk and just doing my work. I like hands-on activities and always doing something.
Oh, it's so different, and it's cool to do the hands-on experience. We watch videos in class, and we do some hands-on, but like it's nothing like this.
This frenzy of activity and creativity isn't taking place at a school. The so-called design laboratory is actually located inside the Sonoma County Office of Education headquarters. It's the brainchild of Casey Shea, coordinator for Maker Education for the entire county school district. But what is making?
The shortest definition of making is taking an idea that you have in your head and holding it in your hands, going through the process to put it together, whatever that takes.
The maker movement, young people turning their creative visions into tangible and often practical or whimsical objects, is now a worldwide phenomenon with over 240 maker fairs across the globe. But it began right in Sonoma County with this man, Dale Doherty. The founder of Maker Media and publisher of Make Magazine, wanted to promote the do-it-yourself mindset to help students learn STEAM concepts: science, technology, engineering, art, and math. A non-traditional approach to counter old teaching methods that often didn't resonate with some students.
I was a high school teacher for many years, so unfortunately by high school, a lot of the kids, there's a significant number of kids who are sort of turned off to the whole system. And we're icing out a whole generation of kids, or a whole group of students who could be the next innovators and the next problem solvers that we need.
I absolutely love coming to the design lab. The kids have told me it's one of their favorite trips of the year.
These students are learning about electricity as they create their own LED flashlights. Their teacher, Lisa Burgess, says what she loves most about this lab and Maker Education is how it inspires kids who don't necessarily shine in a classroom setting.
It just allows freedom. It's discovery, and they go with their gut here, and they test, and they iterate, and they persevere.
Sonoma County Schools Superintendent Stephen Harrington became such an advocate of Maker Education that he and Shea started training other teachers in 2014. 1 year later, they joined with Sonoma State University to create the first fully accredited program in the nation, honored that same year by the White House. Now teachers come here from all over the U.S. to discover how to set up their own Make Labs.
There's a lot of things going for the Make movement, because teachers realize that this creates an environment of creativity, but it also creates an environment of success for learning.
The design lab's even proven to be a hit among those in special education. Neil McKenzie, who teaches visually impaired and blind students like Ricky, says they've worked together to create tactile objects with readable Braille messages, like simulated calculators, computer keyboards, and other objects. Their designs are being shared around the world.
I send my files out and people download them all the time, and I see my things being used in all other places, and that's pretty awesome feeling to see a kid in Canada using a thing that I designed.
It's very gratifying just knowing that other people are using designs that I thought of sometimes.
For Sonoma County schools that don't have the space or resources for their own Maker Labs, the county offers a mobile lab that comes to them. Over in Sacramento, UC Davis education professor Lee Martin takes his mobile lab out to schools all over the region. Like in Sonoma County, Lee wants to provide a space of possibility for students by filling his van with tools and materials to make stuff. Today at Sacramento's Met High School, Lee and these 9th through 12th graders are bringing power tools, a 3D printer, even a laser cutter into teacher Christopher Chu's chemistry class. They're all members of their own Makers Club.
One of the things that I love about the Maker stuff is that it's a place where learning new ideas, it's really clear how it's going to enable you to do new things.
It's really anyone who just enjoys inventing and kind of tinkering and just working with their hands to create something.
And one of the things I think that makes them really special, especially this group, is they like to take risks. They like to try new things, and they're not afraid to make mistakes.
there's just this feeling of like success when you do something on your own, you make something, and then you can look back at it in the future and say, I did that.
As an avid maker himself, Lee wondered if transporting a workshop on wheels to underserved communities would help spark curiosity and creativity in young people.
There are a lot of signals to young women and young people of color that say engineering, design are not spaces that are necessarily for you. And that's deeply problematic. By creating a space where they feel that they do fit in, by creating a space where they can be successful, it was something really tangible that they can walk out and say, I made this. I think that that at least has the potential to really show them that there are spaces in which they fit in, belong, and their ideas are valued.
Establishing maker programs and training teachers can be challenging, but most educators agree it can provide a spark that changes both students' and teachers' lives.
I'd recommend just trying it because it's really fun when you get to do it, and even if things don't work out, it's always a good experience.
Your students will benefit and you will love it because it's a whole new exploration of learning for you as an adult.
I would say just go for it. It's a little scary at first, but if you allow them flexibility and you trust them, they produce great results.
I'm Michael Sanford. It's been a pleasure being part of your Sunday. We hope you've enjoyed today's stories and that you'll be back next time for another episode of Sunday Stories. Until then, have a great week.